You're listening to the Overcast, your joke-making, fun-having pop culture podcast, brought to you by Oversoul Gaming. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Overcast. I'm Justin.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Brooksy.
And together, we're bringing you sunshine on a cloudy day. And we need it because the weather's been teasing us over here, talking about some damn near 80 degrees one day. I actually went out in shorts, and then the next day it's all cold and rainy again. What a not fair.
No, definitely not for us Midwesterners.
I will tell you this. Okay, so I took the umbrella with me on my walk to work the other day because it was, raining out. It wasn't like raining heavy or anything, but the last time I went without an umbrella, I got fucking soaked. So, I had to go sit under the hand dryer in the bathroom for a minute when I got there. And, no, so I brought this umbrella with me, and it's just one of those small, cheap umbrellas. It's got like the not quite metal, but not quite plastic, the same shit that they use for, bed frames a lot. And I had that with me, and it was just a little rain, nothing else. All of a sudden, the wind picked up heavy out of nowhere, turned the umbrella inside out, and as I was trying to, pull it back, drag it back with me, it snapped in half at the handle.
Oh, Jesus.
So there goes
umbrellas are one of those things, just like toilet paper. If you want it to last, you want to spend the extra money to get the good quality ones.
Fair enough.
I was really trying to figure out how you were going to relate an umbrella to toilet paper there.
You want the bougie. You want to go bougie with the umbrellas, just like you go bougie with the toilet paper. You want, yeah.
Or just splurge for the bidet.
Or that.
But anyways, aside from my umbrella turning inside out and falling to pieces, which is some cartoon shit for real,
Yeah.
I've only ever seen that happen on TV. So,
It's happened to me so many times. I hate when that shit happens.
well, besides that happening, I don't really have much in the way of life updates, but there are a couple of things I want to touch on. I've made some progress in Assassin's Creed Shadows, so I have finally unlocked Yasuke, because after a while I was like, alright, I'm going to keep moving forward the story here for a minute, because if I don't, I'm going to keep getting distracted by every single goddamn... I have a problem with this game where whenever I open the map, and I've done this with every Assassin's Creed, I feel like I have to sync every viewpoint in my nearest vicinity before I can move on and do anything else. It's like a weird OCD thing. And then all these little question marks pop up, because they're not icons like they were before. In these newer games, they're world events that you happen upon, and so every little question mark is an undiscovered thing until you've come up on it, and then you find out what it is. It's like a goddamn Kinder Easter eggs all over the place. And, so I have this, I'm riding my horse to the next quest, and I keep getting distracted by all the other shit around me that I have to stop for, I'm gallantly just, I'm gonna go stab that motherfucker, and I'm like, ooh, there's a tanuki I have to paint, and I have to stop and paint the tanuki. Vengeance can wait for the sake of art. Is what's and... yeah, so I'm getting distracted by all of these. It's like that fucking Family Guy episode with James Wood. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Yeah, I'm just Reese's Pieces in the trail all the way till I finally get close enough to go to my quest. So eventually I knocked myself out of this habit and said, all right, it's time to move forward with the story a bit. And I did, and I finally unlocked Yasuke. What I thought was going to be the main conflict of the game gets resolved pretty goddamn early, and then the story kind of shifts its priorities after that. A little bit of whiplash. But all I can say is, yeah, Yasuke is a clunky powerhouse. It's intentional though. He's very strong. He can fuck some people up. He's very knock the shit out of them. But he can't climb or run for shit at all. Like, also, if he does a leap of faith, he basically he fucks it all up and breaks his back. It's hilarious to watch, actually. He's not stealthy at all. He literally can't stealth. He's great for like charging into areas full of enemies and just wiping them all out. If you don't want to be stealthy to take out a hideout and you want to just go in all swords blazing, you want to take him in. But if you're looking to get through the whole thing unseen and silently kill everybody, then you want the other one. You want Naue. And once you unlock him in the main story outside of the prologue, you can switch between them at will. Yeah, you can switch between them at will from that point. And in fact, during a lot of the story quests, they'll show up together. And when you respond, the dialogue that you respond with to some of the NPCs, you can actually choose for him or her to respond. And whichever one you choose, they'll have a different response to the situation.
Okay.
You can also choose which of them to send on certain quests. Some quests are specific to one or the other, but for the most part, the story adjusts to you doing pretty much any quest with either of them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of freedom there. So yeah, so far I'm liking that. I don't like playing as Yasuke as much because it's Assassin's Creed, so I prefer being nimble and fast and silent and stealthy because that's what it's that's the fucking point. Playing as him is such a game mechanic whiplash after playing as Naue for 10 hours. It's just I'm trying to get used to it because he's just so heavy. He's just so heavy feeling to play as him. The thump, 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 clunk, crash, boom, yeah, that kind of shit. So it's like playing as the Hulk. Yeah, so enjoying the game still, though, obviously. That hasn't changed at all, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there. Other things on my mind recently. We got a trailer for the next season of South Park, season 27.
Yes, I'm so
I
excited.
did see that. It looks really good.
It comes out in July. It looks really good, and also I wonder because they're known for throwing episodes together in 6 days, between the last ones. So are all these scenes in the trailer just from the first episode alone, or is it a special they were gonna do that they canceled, then cut into a bunch of episodes instead?
Right. That's a
Yeah, it's not
good
like
thought.
it's not like them to have a trailer for a season. They usually do that for specials because of how their show works. So, but the trailer does have me excited because they're going after Elon, they're going after ketamine, they're going after P Diddy, they're going after the airplane crashes, they're going after the conflict with Canada. One of my favorite parts of the trailer is the French Canadians taking the Statue of Liberty back.
Yes. That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Also, it looks like we're getting Starvin' Marvin back. We haven't seen him since season 3, I
Yeah.
think, or so. It's been at least 20 years. And
Yeah,
also,
Moses as
Such
well.
a controversial character.
if you pay attention to because there was 2 episodes with him before. There was a Thanksgiving one and then another one where he goes to space. And at the end of that episode, they leave him on the planet Marklar with the Marklars. And, a planet where they refer to everything and everyone as Marklar. And when you watch that trailer, if you look, there's a dead Marklar down on the ground over where they're flying above with P. Diddy chasing them. So, so they got him back, and Moses is coming back, a character who was first introduced in the episode Jubilee, and he's a parody of the MCP from Tron. He was also in the episode Super Best Friends, which is you can't find anymore because of the Muhammad shit, and also in the 200 and 201 specials for the same reason. But it's interesting to see. I'm guessing since they're bringing him back, they're going to touch on the whole Israeli war thing, too. So...
Maybe.
Yeah, well, because Moses is a character that they bring around as MCP Moses is a character that they bring around to represent the Jewish faith in their Super Best Friends lineup, because the other members were Jesus, Buddha, Vishnu, Muhammad. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, his introduction was in the episode Jubilee, which was part of their 3-episode trilogy Meteor Shower Night. It was the episode where Kenny goes to Jewish Scouts camp with Kyle, um, and they summon Moses, but he's the MCP from Tron because, South Park. So,
Uh-huh.
that was actually the first trilogy they ever did back in season 3, where the meteor shower went through through 3 different episodes. The first part of that was Shelley babysitting Cartman and her having a weird relationship with overage dude that Cartman put a foil on. This was before he was evil. um,
Mm.
and also it was about his cat being horny too in that episode. The episode was literally called Cat Orgy. And then there was the episode called Two Guys Naked in a Hot Tub, which was literally about Randy and Gerald
Ah, yes.
naked in a hot tub and then it being awkward afterwards. So those 3 episodes all go together as part of the same running storyline, the same party night.
Okay.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, so there's that. Also, the new trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines. I watched a Dead Meat breakdown of
I
this.
cannot wait to see this in theaters.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks like this time Death has decided to hold a 60-year grudge against somebody and go after their children's children. Like, that is wild. That means that through all the other events of all the other movies, Death has just been biding his time to get back at this one particular lady and her family in particular 60 years later. It's like, all right, I got those airplane fucks out of the way, the pile up people, the roller coaster people, the NASCAR people, and the bridge people. Oh, wait, no, that one was before the airplane. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, guess it's time to get back at that old lady from the Needle 60 years ago. So, yeah, as illogical as it may be, I'm actually looking forward to it. And look, I know it's stupid. The Final Destination series actually has extended lore through books and comics that show that, yes, Death is actually a sentient entity that is genuinely coming after them. It's not just happenstance nonsense and fate. No, it's actually like he's literally doing this himself. They're slasher movies for all intents and purposes. It's just that the killer is an invisible force of evil. So nothing you can do about it. But
And it looks like this would be shit.
well, it's the 6th movie in the.
This will be Tony Todd's final film.
Yes, yeah, he is in this, and man, that guy was not looking good in that trailer. Very skinny compared to the older movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could tell he was dying. So I'm glad that he managed to do this. I'm glad that he managed to do this too. And
he
I know
definitely fits the role a little better though.
It takes place in the same continuity too, because it looks like here's my prediction based on the trailer. The grandma was on the Space Needle or something that looks like it, maybe in Vegas, and she had the premonition about it falling and crashing, and she saved everyone on it. And instead of Death getting back at her right away, he decides to wait 60 years and get back at her family. That's why it's called Bloodlines. So that's when you see
okay.
That's when you see that scene at the in the trailer at the family barbecue where the lawnmower accident happens, and that's what kicks off the whole Death is finally coming for her family thing, I think. And so,
that makes sense.
This whole time, she's been biding her time, paying attention to the events that have been happening in the other movies, how people who keep escaping death are being hunted down by it one by one and taken out. And so, of course, it makes her paranoid, so she's been keeping a notebook all these years of all this shit that happened and how to avoid it happening to her. And she passes that notebook down to her granddaughter, because you look in the trailer, she's flipping through it. They got the airplane, they got the roller coaster, they got all that shit on there. So... and it's just like scribbles all over of like how to avoid this, how to stay safe in this situation. So, yeah. I'm excited because the last one was actually a while ago, and visual effects have come so far now that this one's going to be really out there, I think, with the kills. And the special effects. And we all know, just like the Saw, we go to the Saw movies for the traps, we go to Final Destination for the over-the-top Rube Goldbergian kills, the fucking Pee Wee Herman shit where the thing falls on the thing and makes another thing do a thing, and then a thing goes and kills somebody. That's what we're here for with these movies.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think those were basically the ones I wanted to talk about. There'll be other ones later, but Nick, why don't you go next?
So Sarah and I have been looking at houses.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah. I said this past Sunday, after I got off work, the open house that Sarah and Willow went to said, yeah, our full house, the open house ends at 4 o'clock, but we can stick around if you want to bring your fiance. I'm like, sure, I wouldn't mind seeing the house. I like the house. It's nice. And it's got a pool in the backyard.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if we had discussed the pool, and with how Willow likes to do things without permission. I don't want to find her out in the pool all by herself. So we might not be doing the house with the pool. But let's see. What else?
Fair
What else?
enough. You could always
yeah,
you could always put in a pool fence.
You said what?
I said you could always put in a pool fence.
Yeah. That yeah.
I mean, you know what
Let's
what pools are good for, don't you?
Huh.
Swimming.
Yes.
Oh man.
You thought I was gonna go somewhere dirty with it, and I went subversive.
No.
I sure yeah.
I thought you were
did.
gonna go somewhere dumb with it, and man, I was right. But like,
Double subversive.
Yes. So, let's see. We went to go see the live action remake of Snow White. This Saturday after it was opening weekend. I have to gripe about it a little bit.
Okay.
I wouldn't have an issue with the dwarves being CGI if they didn't also have an actual little person in the film.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could cast a little person, but you couldn't cast 7 others?
no,
The fuck, Disney.
not in the budget.
Do
It's
better.
Not like there aren't options.
Right. I mean, they had voice actors for them.
Yeah, it doesn't
No,
seem like
it's-
the better our technology gets, the more lazy we get with this. Remember when Peter Jackson just used forced perspective to do height differences, not special
Yes.
effects? Man,
Yes.
what a
Telling
fucking
you.
genius.
Other than that, I went into it expecting scene for scene a live action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I was sadly mistaken. I halfway through the film realized, okay, this is not a remake. This is a retelling of the story. There's a whole extra half an hour added on to the film. There's no way it could have been scene for scene. We got backstory of how Snow White became the princess and how the evil queen overthrew the throne.
Was the rest of it the same as the original, though, outside of the new stuff?
There was a new song. I think it's called "Waiting for a Wish." sung by Snow White. They Whistle While You Work got extended, and Hi Ho got extended. So there's more to the songs.
Let me rephrase that. Is the main is the the point A to point B main plot line more or less the same? The same shit happens.
No.
Poison apple and all that.
Nope. I mean, yeah,
No.
the poison apple happens. No, this is a complete retelling of the story.
Okay.
Yes, there
I
are
was not
elements
expecting that.
of the original 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, but this is a complete retelling of the Snow White story.
So
And
it's not
one
like
would
Beauty and the
argue
Beast, then.
that there one would argue that they basically get away with not having a white actress for skin as white as snow. They're with the way they tell the story, it makes sense.
I heard that. I've heard that.
All right.
So it's not
Yes,
like Beauty and the
it's-
Beast then, because Beauty and the Beast was basically a
No,
completely
it's-
faithful remake, but it did have extra scenes
No.
with new backstory.
This is a complete retelling, and without spoiling anything, something happens with one of the dwarves that no one ever saw coming.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to say which one. Without
Fair enough.
So I highly recommend it. It was good. That's my. I'm not gonna give a rating on it because I'm not. I was just, yeah, sneaking it
Right.
into my life updates. Let's see. We went to a hockey game last night. And it was Star Wars night, and instead of the Iowa Wild, they were the Iowa Wookiees.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, they had clone troopers, they had a Mandalorian, they had there was a stormtrooper there somewhere. But I got my picture with Chewbacca with a dismembered C3PO, working animatronic C3PO on its back. And along with the clone trooper, the Mandalorian, and I don't know what the other one was. I think that might have been a clone trooper as well. But yeah, no, they ended up winning against the San Diego Gulls 2-4 last night.
Yeah, you're right. Looking at the picture, it's in fact not just any Mandalorian. I think the Mandalorian in the orange helmet is supposed to be Bo-Katan. And then yes, the other two are clone troopers, a general clone trooper and a shock, and the one in blue is a shock trooper.
Okay.
I know I'm being a total nerd here, but
no, you're good.
I love the Wookiee with a broken C-3PO on his back in a direct reference to Empire Strikes Back, that scene in Cloud City.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I literally just started watching this new sitcom on Hulu called Mid-Century Modern. It's got Nathan Lane in it, and it's about 3 gay best friends that move in together, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's a Hulu original.
Okay.
I'll say, also, for any of our listeners that are wrestling fans, just a quick reminder: we are in the month of WrestleMania. I am going to be doing solo recaps of night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. You guys can look forward to that. Brooksy, what you got for us, bud?
I wish I could say I had just like a super exciting and eventful past couple of weeks, but really, I main things is I started playing KCD 1 after just the amount of hype that I had about KCD 2. Um,
Mhm.
about 15 hours into it, and I joked with Justin about this earlier, but I hit a wall, full on hit a wall when put you put 140 hours into one game, and then you jump into its original game, the first one, a prequel for me, I guess. That's 8 years older, and it was only made by 12 people and only made with a few $1 million, compared to a lot more people, a lot more money for the second game. You can feel the difference. It's still the same world, it's still the same characters. I really love all of the characters, and it's exciting to see a lot of things that were mentioned in KCD 2 and getting experience it firsthand. But I mean, the guy can't even read at the beginning of the game. Uh, yeah, he can't even read it, and I'm like, oh, so we're like peasant simulator. Okay, got it.
That's
Okay, like
fantastic.
I can run like half a block and I'm completely winded. And I'm like, this is awful. This is terrible. I can't even wear a full set of armor because I become over encumbered, not holding anything else in my inventory. And I'm like, this is ooh, okay, all right, cool. This is different. So I think I'm gonna put that just a bit in the back burner. I definitely will come back to it. For the time being, my wife and I are officially playing through Split Fiction. Picked it up about a week ago. I think I want to say we're about 25-30% through the game right now. Absolutely loving it. Like if you love the formula that It Takes Two had, you will absolutely love this game. I do plan on doing a full media corner entry about it when that time comes. I also plan on doing some Let's Play with Justin on it and getting to play through it with him as well. But I'm really enjoying that. And then I guess the biggest thing is. And I'll kind of explain later in a bit as to why I made this purchase. But a few days ago, I purchased a Steam Deck. I got the big boy fancy OLED terabyte model that they have. Got a dock. Yeah,
Ooh.
I was like, if I'm gonna do this, like, I'm gonna go all out. Sam is very much a handheld person. She like I can't tell you how many hours she's put into her Switch to the point that we've completely burned through. We've burned through too many Joy Cons and everything else. So it seemed like
Oh, geez.
yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like it seemed like the right investment and the right choice for us this time. So what's funny
I
is
got that
it
Joy-Con drift. Yeah.
man, but it literally showed up on our front doorstep about 15 minutes before we all hopped on together today. So Sam's playing with the Steam Deck. I'm excited to see what she thinks about it. I'm excited to play with it tonight. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had more exciting things to talk about, but it's been pretty quiet here. It's just been working and playing games.
Oh man, I'm excited to play with it tonight is a line that I could clip separately and put out of context in reactions and
Oh
highlights.
no.
Just that by
I
itself. Just one clip. Brooksy, I'm excited to play with it tonight. In next clip.
why do I feel like now the very beginning of this episode is just gonna be just that clip of me saying I can't wait to play with it tonight. Um,
Nah. It's going in reactions and highlights. It'll probably be the cold open for the next reactions and
oh,
highlights.
great, love that, so excited.
That's fantastic.
I love that for me. I love that so much for me.
Oh, anything else from you for the life updates?
No, I mean, again, like it's been a lot of work, and it's been a lot of playing games in my downtime and not being sick, which has been just so wonderful. But no, I really it's been pretty quiet over here, just hanging out.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I'm glad you brought up the Steam Deck last, because that'll be a good transition into the media corner, and especially the first thing we're gonna touch on in that media corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right,
Same.
let's transition.
Wow! That's a low price! Is it? Is it really?
All right, everybody, here we are at the media corner, the part of the show reserved for news, reviews, recommendations, sometimes previews, and doing things a little bit differently here. In light of very recent news that came out, we're gonna dedicate a good portion of this to talking about the recent Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 2, and then at the end, Nick has a movie review for us as well. So
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct first. We're going to talk about the positives and the negatives, not just one or the other, because there was both.
Mm-hmm.
But, elephant in the room, got to get that out of the way first. Jesus Christ, the state of our economy is really hurting us here, because the $80 for a digital game? That's a bit ridiculous.
90 for a physical.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to fully begin with $80 and $90 games. Because I am a proponent. I do believe in charging less for a digital over a physical. And I guess this is the first point I really want to talk about from the Direct itself, is the physical media itself. For some games is an actual physical cartridge that we've all come to know and understand from Nintendo and with the original Switch. And from what it looks like, the main difference between the two cartridges is that one is the original gray format, and the Switch 2 will be a red color instead. But the fact that certain games are going to be a key card, which is essentially, it has nothing on it outside of, you gave us money, and we're going to let you download it digitally now, which completely defeats the purpose of physical media in general.
So fucking dumb.
It is.
Yeah, because it's... When I heard about that at first, I was like... When I first heard about how they're handling it, I was like, oh, okay, so it's kind of like how you put a disc in the PS5 and it unpacks the game to the hard drive, but you still need the disc to play it, even though it's fully installed. And I'm like, no, wait, it's not, because this is... The cartridge just tells them you bought the game, and then it still downloads it from the eShop, from the internet. It's not on the cartridge. It's being downloaded from the internet, and the cartridge is... You still need the cartridge to play it, though, so it's giving you the illusion of physical media.
Yeah. And I understand, games are a lot more technologically advanced than they were several years ago. And I personally, for games that are being ported onto the Switch 2, I'm going to use Cyberpunk 2077 as an example. It's a massive game. It's 100 gigs that I downloaded onto my PS5 to be able to play it. I understand trying to fit 100 gigs worth of information on a little teeny tiny card is not gonna fully work, but why not do the approach that the original version of Cyberpunk did and several other games did, where there is 2 discs, or in this case 2 cartridges, where one is just strictly to download a good portion of the process of the software, and as soon as you've downloaded everything off of it, it's like, cool, pop in number 2, and that'll be the one that you play off of as well.
Straight up, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PS5 comes with an install disc and a play disc.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and I have Rebirth, and there are several games that have done that. Why they couldn't do that outside of just not wanting to spend the extra few cents to be able to throw a second cartridge our way, to me it reads, we're Nintendo and we can do what we please, and it's immoral in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've seen the conversation is pretty split so far, because the thing is, the Nintendo Direct itself, the actual Direct, was decent. Maybe a bit underwhelming, because there was way too much focus, for my taste anyway, on remasters of of games that already exist. A lot of stuff that people who want to play these games have already played them on other platforms 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, and like that's the same. Like people constantly give PlayStation shit for pumping out remaster after remaster, but Nintendo does it and they give them a gold medal, and that shit bothers
Yep.
me. It's like, yeah, like we got to hold them to the same standards because it's annoying when either of them do it. You can't just pick and choose. And if you're showing off your new system, bring new games to the table. It is cool that show some remasters, sure, to the people know that they're coming, and the upgrades for your existing games. That's cool too. But that was like 70% of the showing, honestly.
Yeah,
it really was.
They had like 4 new games on there.
It really is, because I'm trying to think. We had Mario Kart World, which I will admit, it does look really great, and we'll.
God,
talk
I
want to
play that so bad. I want to play it so bad.
Same.
Yeah, no, and we'll talk about that in a second, because we've got that. We've got Donkey Kong Bonanza again. Also, does look really, really good, and it does look like a lot of fun. We've got Kirby Air Riders, which I never played the original version of this 20 years ago. So for me, I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm like, that's just a second racing game. Like we just got World. I feel like this shouldn't have been as high on the priority list for close to launch or for announcement or anything like that. And I'm trying to think.
But it is very niche. It is very niche, but it was a GameCube game, the original. Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense if it coincides with the GameCube coming to Virtual Console, which is something I was like, okay, it's about time. I have to say, I don't know if it's just because
I'm so excited for that.
I don't know if it's just if it's because they were in 4K, but like whatever emulator they're using is doing a great job upscaling those GameCube games because they look fucking phenomenal. Like
they do.
They look like remasters.
I was saying, I think the couple of the games that I saw on the list were one of them was Pokemon Coliseum, and one of the other really big ones that I saw on there was Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, and Pokemon XD, I have always wanted to play, so I am very excited about that. The last big announcement, and I don't know why that wasn't the first one that I talked about, was Duskbloods. And for me, who's a big From Software fan, very excited to see a new From Software game. I'm very excited and was very shocked to see a Nintendo exclusive, whether that be a timed exclusive or not, time will tell on that. But at the same time, I was also, it left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth because it's another multiplayer game. We're about to get Night Rain in about a month and a half, and I'm like, I don't play From Software games to play multiplayer, candidly, unless if it's like a co-op. I'm normally not a big multiplayer game person. Night Rain is very much an exception to the rule because Elden Ring is one of my favorite games of all time. But it just, for new things, it felt very, very lackluster. And I guess the fifth one you could add in is the tech demo that they are requesting us to pay for.
Yeah, I don't like that. It should have been free, like Astro's Playroom. PlayStation gave us a PS5 tour in the form of a full-ass 3D platformer game with historic Easter eggs that even had a platinum trophy and shit like that. That was a game that PlayStation could have rightfully charged $20 for that game, and
they sure could have. And they gave it to us for free.
Yep.
Right. This on the other hand, this is shovelware that should be free. Yeah.
Agreed.
Fully this agreed. This is the equivalent of Go ahead.
It's essentially the Nintendo's attempt at making an Astro's Playroom.
What it looks like to me, and why I think it should be free is it's basically the console equivalent of those apps and VR headsets that take you on a tour through the headset and get you used to it. That's like the first steps shit, and it is because it's just a bunch of it looks like just little echochrome people walking through the different components of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanna ask y'all now. Obviously, this is, as we all know, it is most likely 99.999% chance going to change. But how did y'all feel about the 449 base or 499 base plus Mario Kart World as a price point? Initially is the main thing I have to say because it will likely not be the case moving forward. But how did y'all feel about the original price point?
I felt like it was fair.
That's already a
It's
high
fair.
price tag.
I think it's fair considering the hardware. It's the same hardware as the PS4 Pro, and it's the
Yeah.
same price. Because
Yeah, and
this is
Yeah,
not.
that's fair.
This is no longer the. We have to remember the original Nintendo Switch is running on mobile phone hardware, and at this point,
You're not wrong.
highly outdated. So the hardware that's running in the Switch 2 allows for 4K and 120 FPS, just like the newer consoles. So it's closer to on par with them now. So yeah, that price point I think is
that's a fair
is
price.
fair
I
for
say
that.
that's a fair
Yeah.
price. That's a fair price tag. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
I agree with. I was curious about y'all's opinion because when I
And
saw
I will
449,
say
I was like,
they are
Mm.
tricking you. They're tricking you into thinking you're getting a deal with that bundle, though, because they're charging $80 for Mario Kart. So if you buy the bundle that gets the game that's for 500, then you're only paying 50 more than you would for the system by itself, and therefore saving $30. But
yeah,
what you're really paying there is what the goddamn price of the game should have been in the first place. Honestly, it's not a deal; it's the right
agree.
price.
Fully
That's
agree.
Yeah.
I will say that was of everything that they announced. Like it's a toss up for my two biggest negatives. It's either the game card because Nintendo has always and forever been the real champions of physical media. And it's
Yeah,
one of
they
the
have.
it's one of the many reasons why I've always loved Nintendo is because we've heard me talk incessantly at this point about how much I cherish and how much physical media means to me. So to see the game card aspect was just like a shot in the absolute heart to me. Like
yeah.
I could not believe it. But the other part is it is the price points for the games. I know a handful of years ago, and I can't remember who was the first one to do it. I think it was a 2K game that did the $70 games, and everyone immediately started following suit. We've heard rumor after rumor about how GTA 6, when it comes out later on this year, that it's going to be $100 game. And now we have Nintendo who is saying $80 for a digital, $90 for a physical, and all of their games are $70 or $80. They're remasters of games, or not remasters, but enhanced versions of things like Tears of the Kingdom, are gonna be $80.
Yeah, ports.
Yeah, and
But
if you already
those.
own it, I know
I
you
will
can
say
you can get it for
I
free.
looked into that. Yeah, I was gonna say I looked into that. A lot of them they're doing like the PlayStation thing where you can pay an up. I think you can pay an upgrade fee if you already own the original game. If you're not
Right.
a online member, because some of these upgrades are much like like Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima,
Right.
more actual content, shit that wasn't in the original version,
Right.
that you can
You know
only
what
get
I
in the
find a
upgraded
little
version.
You
Yeah.
know what I find a little fishy though? They didn't
What?
disclose the price of those upgrade packages.
I think it's like
Yeah.
$10, $20
That's-
That's
if you own
another
the
issue
original.
I had with it is they didn't like
Yeah, they didn't disclose
if
the
the
price
game
of much
if
of
the if, if the
anything
di-
but the system.
if the digital copies of games are $80, I could honestly I think a lot of people are gonna lose their shit if the upgrade bundles are like $15-$30.
Yeah.
I mean, I would expect $20 at most, $10 at the least, because the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2 was a $10 upgrade if you own the original. Same for Ghost of Tsushima.
See,
was
$10
$20.
I wouldn't have an issue with.
Ghost of Tsushima was $20, but that's because it added a whole extra DLC bundle to the mix. Like it was,
but
like 15 hours worth of extra gameplay. You know.
Yeah.
Going back to the price points, the fear I have is because of the recently moving to $70, and then GTA being rumored at $100. Now we're getting $80 or $90 or $70 Switch 2 games. It genuinely makes me feel like games on PC or PlayStation or Xbox will soon be following suit, much like how when one game got announced for $70, pretty much everyone started following suit immediately afterwards. And I've heard the argument of the dollar doesn't hold as much weight as it did 20 years ago, and video games were $60, $70 in the 90s. And I'm like, I agree. However, there were very specialized manufacturing plants to be able to make things like Nintendo 64 cartridges. It was a lot more expensive. And on top of that, there was such an insignificantly less amount of people playing video games 20 years ago than there are today. The demand is infinitely higher, and I understand games cost more, but you're talking about a tenfold amount of people playing video games now in 2025 than in 1995. The price point should be, at $60 or $70. Personally, I'm okay with things being at $70. Obviously, nobody wants to pay more or anything like that, but getting close to that triple digit number for a video game, it's just. And for Mario Kart, I'm sorry,
it's asking too much.
It looked like the Mario Kart game looks incredible.
Yeah,
it does.
But it's also Mario Kart. And we all know Nintendo games never depreciate in value. It's not like there's going to be a sale on it one day where it's 35% off, 50% off, like a lot of PlayStation or Xbox or PC games. Nintendo's worst nightmare is a Steam sale. And so it's gonna always be, no matter what, it's gonna be $80 or $90. And I just I just don't agree with that. And I know I've talked a lot about negative things, and it's not been all negative things. There are a lot of things about the Switch 2 that have made me excited to see what it will be. I'm curious, what do you guys think about the whole new capture or the C button aspect that they added in?
I think that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
I agree. I think
I just want this system to be. I want this system to allow me to record videos clips longer than 30 seconds. But I don't know if they will, because they're still going with low storage space, which is probably why. Because I thought about that too. I was like, well, the current Switch, they only for the most part put reasonably sized games on cartridges, but shit like Kingdom Hearts and The Witcher and all that, you have to cloud stream on the Switch. There is no physical version of them over there.
Right.
And that was so in a way I kind of get it, but also at the same time I'm super resistant to it. It's one of those things where it's like, you know what, I'll do it, but I'm gonna bitch about it the whole time.
I will say one thing that did crack me up watching that direct was when they were being like, you can talk to all of your friends, and I'm like, okay, so you said F you Discord, I'll never use you, I'm gonna create my own thing, which is fine. But when they were like, and you can pull up your camera and be able to talk to everyone and have everyone's cameras up, I laughed so hard that it looked like it was running at 5 frames per second during the actual
those
direct.
Cameras were laggy as hell.
Oh, they were ugly. Oh my god. I was like, ugh, I will. If that's you trying to sell me to use it, I'm letting you know right now, it's not a good job.
I was like, right, this is the footage you choose to show?
Yeah.
Of the people of the cameras running at 5 frames per second?
Yeah. What did you use, a flip phone camera? I'm not, what is happening right now?
Dial up AT&T
Right.
internet?
Yeah. Yeah,
Jesus
this
Christ.
direct was brought to you by AOL. What?
Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, on the good though, I do want to
Dial-up.
say I love the innovation with the new Mario Kart. It's basically Forza Horizon, open world,
Yeah.
and you race, and part of the race is drive. Once you finish all the laps on one track, you actually have to drive to the next track. It doesn't just load into it. You
Yeah.
actually have to go there,
And I do think
that's
that's
part
really
of the
cool.
race. Yeah, there's
And, like, you can
elimination
do-
mode too.
Yeah, I
that
think
they
the
added.
extra tricks you can do in it too, like, wait, say again?
No, that's all I said. There's elimination mode.
Oh, elimination mode. No, it looks great. I do like the extra kind of tricks that you can do. Like, it looks like you can do like a kick flip into a grind at certain points on tracks, and I'm like, that. It looks really cool. It looks very well polished. Like, it looks like a good successor for a game that came out, what, 8 years ago? 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there? Like, it's been a
Mario
long time,
Kart.
so.
Mario Kart 8 was the last one we got, and that was originally a Nintendo Wii game, which got remade for the Switch, and that's the last one
Oh,
we had.
wow, yeah. So it's been a very long time, because the Switch came out in 2017. And I mean, yeah, it's been, if since it was on the Wii, I mean, it's been a decade plus since we've had a new one, so we're definitely due for one. Not $80-$90 overdue for one, but we were overdue.
Right.
We were overdue for one, so
They over-delivered.
yeah. And again, I know I've spoken about a lot of negative aspects. Like, again, the games do look great. The console itself looks really nice. I do really appreciate them showing more about how the magnet works inside of it, and it's really just an additional strength to be able to keep your console you know, not breaking nearly as often. I'm hoping they also work on some issues with, like, any kind of stick drift or anything like that. I do think it's really cool that they, inside of the port that you actually put the Nintendo in to pull up on your screen, that there's a coolant system built inside of it to be able to help things run at 4K. Like, there's a lot of hardware things that they did to it that I think are really impressive, in the sense of, like, for a handheld console. I think that were really nice to see. I just it fell short. It fell short for me overall, where I just, it was like almost bittersweet. Like, I enjoyed some aspects, but I felt like I definitely disliked more aspects than I liked aspects of it.
There was something that they didn't mention in the hardware aspect that I actually saw on TikTok today.
What's that?
The Joy-Cons magnetize to the console itself, but there's a button on the back side that you can press that will release them.
Yeah, it was like literally like the clip that they showed for that part in the Nintendo Direct was about the same length of them showing Silksong, which was half a nanosecond.
Yeah, it was.
Which, by the way,
fucking
most
dumb.
exciting news for Ryan was Silksong showing up in that montage of games coming to the system and confirming that it's still coming out this year.
Yeah. I still don't buy it. Like, I know that we have our I know that we have our fantasy league, and I'm the only one with one slot left that I've been holding and waiting for the right moment. I've been thinking about Silksong, but I just, until I get a real date, not a 2025 date, I can't pull that trigger quite. I can't pull that trigger quite yet.
You've been very strategic with this.
I listen, and I wanted to do it on direct day, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna have like 8 games to choose from, and it was 4, and I've never had to consider to myself whether or not a price point can affect a review, but I feel like $90 for a game could affect a review. Like, if it is not the most polished, amazing, perfect, fleshed out game possible,
0 bugs on launch.
It needs to, yeah. If you're gonna charge that much, it needs to be 0 bugs on launch. It needs to be free DLC with it. Like you can, like, no.
Yeah. Well, Mario Kart games have actually usually run pretty goddamn well. Like consistently across every platform, they've always been one of the best playing games Nintendo's ever had. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hell, in a lot of ways, even the old Super Nintendo one still kind of holds up a little bit. Just a little though.
And
but it's playable. You know what I'm saying? It's not unplayable. Yeah. So,
no, I will say oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just gonna say I jokingly told Ryan that when he asked what I thought was gonna be in it, I was like, a bunch of remasters and a new Kirby game. I did not think I was gonna be right.
You were on the nose. You were eerily accurate with that.
And I think I know why they're not doing a new 3D Mario yet, because they did Donkey Kong instead, and they're gonna sell the system with Mario Kart. I think next year, new 3D Mario. I think they're gonna wait to get the systems enhanced first, and then next year we're gonna get one. That's my prediction.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on that. One thing I do want to talk about specifically with this Direct and with the Switch 2 announcement is I will say I really appreciate when a company takes scalpers seriously, because I'm sure y'all remember when the PS5 had gotten announced how much of a shit show and a fucking nightmare it was to try to get a PS5 within the first year that it was launched.
Yes. I didn't get mine until 2022.
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate to be able to get a PS5 on launch day through, I think it was Amazon. I follow a lot of different people on Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, that will announce when things go live, and will even post links for it before it officially goes live, so I can continuously refresh. And I was fortunate to get one. I love that Nintendo wanted to counteract that. I will say I do think the approach that they had with it was a bit too aggressive, because the stipulations was that you had to be 18 years or older. Check, done. Almost twice that, but check. Secondly is that you needed to have at least 50 hours of gameplay on your account, which I love that. That means that someone just can't have an account. Can't just have an account. They actually have to be someone that actually plays games. You need to have signed up for the newsletter, which I'm really glad that I always sign up for newsletters and always attach it to my junk email. The last part, though, is that you had to have had a subscription for at least 12 months for Nintendo Online. And for me, I'm married, and both my wife and I have a Switch, and we both love to play. And instead of having two separate online accounts, we did a family plan. Sam was the one that set up the plan. That's what we do. Yeah, Sam was the one that set up the plan, and I just, whenever it's the annual renewal, I just give her, I think it's like $60 a year or something like that. I give her $30. We have a couple other friends that are on our family plan, but per the rules and regulations for being able to do a pre-order through Nintendo, you had to be the one to pay for it. You had to be the admin of a family or just have your own account. So for me, who has been paying for online for the past 4 years or something like that, and have thousands of hours on my Switch, I'm not eligible. And that is, to me, that is an incredibly frustrating thing, where it's like, find ways to get around scalpers, but not make it so rigorous where a lot of people aren't able to get it. And there's also a lot of people that love the Switch and Switch games, but don't play online or don't care about playing the retro games or anything like that. And it completely it removes them out of being able to pre-order it, because it's such a nightmare going through something like GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart or Target or whichever big box retailer that you end up getting a console from.
Well, now none of us are now none of us are eligible.
But now none of us. Yeah,
because
now none of us are eligible.
They're gonna delay the pre-orders, because of the whole tariffs thing for the U.S. anyway. Yeah, so it doesn't matter now.
How much do you guys think it's gonna end up being?
I don't think I would have.
I don't know, and I'm scared.
So, because
I do have. Oh. I have double that amount of time in like Mario Party alone, I think. For the hours required. But I've let my online lapse a bunch, so I don't know if I meet the 12 months requirement anyway.
Yeah. So it's but no, so right now I believe what it is, I believe our current tariff situation is that every single country, including a country that doesn't even have any humans, just has penguins on it, is getting charged 10% tariff. But specifically for China and Japan, they received an additional, I think it was 35% reciprocal tax. So a lot of speculation is that it's going to be somewhere in the $600 to $700 range. Is what a lot of analysts are believing the Switch 2 is going to be, which is the price of a PS5 Pro. That's insanity. That's absolute insanity.
That's insanity. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't be. My chances of getting one at that point would go down from like 70% to 0.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm willing to spend money if it's worth it for something like that. I just can't see myself. I can't see myself shelling out. And I know I joked earlier saying, it'll tie in later. And I know Justin, you mentioned it as well going into this segment. But both Sam and I sat and had a really long conversation after we're Pacific time, so we woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and came downstairs at like 5:30 to start watching the Nintendo Direct at 6 o'clock in the morning. And she and I both just kind of sat with our feelings about the games that were being announced, the game card situation, and everything else in between. And Sam is very much a cozy gamer. She was really, really hoping, and I was like, please please level set your expectations, because she really wanted an announcement for a new Animal Crossing game. And I was like, I really don't think that's going to be a launch title announcement. If they do one, and that's a big if, it's probably going to be like 2-3 years from launch. But with no announcement for that, no 3D platform Mario game, really just four new games. We both agreed it was not enough for us to try to buy into it now. We think that waiting a couple of years, waiting for when they do hopefully announce another Animal Crossing game, probably come out with an OLED version, beefed up version, at that point we'll get a Nintendo Switch 2. But there's not enough pros for us to do that, and it's a shame because I am someone that I have picked up a Nintendo console, whether it be a full console or a handheld. I've picked one up on day one of release since the Nintendo DS. This is the first time I am sitting out since the original Nintendo DS, which was like 2002. And instead, we decided to go in and get a Steam Deck instead. Sam's big on the handheld. She'll be able to play handheld. There are big boasts about being able to play things like Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. I now can also play Elden Ring and Cyberpunk on my Steam Deck. And it felt like I was getting a better value for the amount of money, especially because I won't have to worry about spending $80 or $90 on a game.
Right.
Plus, like a Steam sales, which I'm pretty excited about.
Right. We need to move on to Nick, but before we do, I want to end this spot on a positive note and ask you guys real quick, rapid fire, not gun to your head, if you have to choose favorite thing from the Direct overall, most excited to play or whatever, just off the top of your head?
Mario Kart World.
Okay.
That's what I'm most excited for.
And you, Brooksy?
Donkey Kong Bonanza. I haven't had a really good Donkey Kong game, I feel like, since 64, and this feels like it's really gonna scratch that itch for me.
I agree with both of those. I think I'm leaning more Mario Kart though, because I'm just obsessed with Mario Kart and Mario Party. Something about them, the way they play, just appeals to me in a certain kind of. There's a specific scratch in my brain that it itches, and I really like
That's
them
fair.
both. So
Didn't we get like aren't we getting an expansion on Mario Party Jamboree?
Yep, on the Switch too, there's going to be an expansion version. Yeah, honestly, I think it's the chaos. I just love how it's not. It's Mario Kart has some skill base in it, but there's still with the items and shit, you can be as good as you want and still get fucked. You know, like
Yeah.
So I think it's the chaos I like. It's the like, yeah. I might be a little evil. Anyways, Nick, speaking of evil, tell us about that goofy ass unicorn movie. I'm looking forward to hearing.
So
Yeah.
I went to the local Cinemark to see the new A24 film Death of a Unicorn, starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega.
And Will Poulter.
Yeah, I was like, Will Poulter's in this too. So Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega are father and daughter. They're taking a trip up to I don't know exactly where, but they were going to see this they had a meeting with this big pharmaceutical uh company that was willing to pay him handsomely, basically set him up for life. And they're very family oriented, so he brought his daughter along, and they wanted to like have an entire weekend. But on the way up there, this isn't spoilery because it's literally the title of the movie, and it's in the trailer. On their way up there, they hit a unicorn with their car, and they kill it. Now, historically in media across many different platforms, unicorns heal. The unicorn blood has healing powers. You would in turn be able to heal themselves. They're immortal.
Yeah, I think that was in Supernatural, actually.
Yeah. They put this what they thought was dead unicorn in the back of the car and continued driving. So in the trailer, we see these we see a what looks more like a scaly unicorn.
Yeah, the impression I got from the trailer was that it was the dead unicorn's mom coming after them.
Yeah, that's Daddy.
Oh, okay.
That's Daddy. That's Daddy Unicorn.
I'm not sure if that's worse or not. Oh, man.
It is. Because they don't show his horn in the trailer. It's This is a dark comedy / horror film, and there's definitely more horror in this movie than there is comedy.
Fair enough. Let me ask you this without any spoilers, because this movie has a pretty big cast, but that didn't stop X. So, is this a movie that would make a good kill count on dead meat?
Honestly,
can
no.
you get at least
maybe
one or two out of it?
At least
I mean, because
what was that?
they just did a kill count for a movie that has literally 1 kill in it. Just so you know. So.
Oh, well, okay. Then yeah, it would make for a good kill
Okay.
count video.
Okay. Is there some good gore?
Yeah,
in
if
here?
they, oh, absolutely, there is.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. No
Oh
further
yeah,
questions,
no,
Your
there's
Honor.
this. No, this movie was. It did some things that there is at least one. This isn't a cheap jump scare. This was a really good jump scare, and I loved it.
Threw your popcorn in the air, did you?
I didn't get popcorn. Actually, I didn't get popcorn.
What?
I ended. No, I got a chicken sandwich, and I smuggled in some Sour Patch Kids,
I saw that too.
and I got a
Yeah.
drink.
Oh, this is
Nice.
this is the kind of theater that sells food like AMC. Okay. I'm not used to that here. The closest
Yeah,
thing they
yeah,
have to that at my theater is nachos. So,
Mm.
Fair enough.
but okay. Any other thoughts on the movie?
It had I think there was a message here too, and
Oh, really?
yeah, it played on one of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, without telling us what the message is, I was gonna say, could you tell us like what category it falls under? Like, is it a like
It plays on one of the
message,
7.
or-
It plays on one of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay, that's interesting.
I
Right.
really enjoyed this movie. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Awesome.
Okay,
It was good. I would go see it again. But I cannot wait for later this month to go sit my ass in that seat and go see Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Nick's been pretty positive on everything he's reviewed so far this year, Brooksy, but that hasn't always happened. Just so you know, it's been happening for you so far. But
I mean,
he gave
I was
he
gonna
gave
say
Mufasa,
we're on a
like,
hot streak.
he
I
gave
mean, it's
Mufasa
got
a
Paul
7 out
Rudd
of
and
10.
Jenna Ortega. Yeah, no, Mufasa
Yeah.
was horrendous.
So there you go. Oh, actually, CinemaSins just did Mufasa recently. I have to send that to you. I know you'll appreciate that one.
Was I say Sarah and I just watched the CinemaSins video for Wicked.
Oh, did you? I haven't seen that one yet because spoilers. But
Yes, we did.
was it funny? Was it?
I sent you the
CinemaSins?
digital code for Wicked.
All right, so a 9 out of 10. Yeah, A24 horror movies are usually pretty good. So
A24 films are pretty solid.
yeah. All right. Well, with all that being said, we're going to transition into the topic of this episode, and I use air quotes for topic.
Yes.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, everyone. Here we are at this episode's topic, quote unquote. But it's actually not a topic. We've done this, Nick and I, 3 times already. This is the 4th round, and the first time for Brooksy. Nick, what are we playing?
This is our season annual game of Would You Rather.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
no. Oh.
Brought to you directly by
Okay.
WouldYouRather.io.
Okay. All right. This is-
Yes. So we're gonna go through as many of these as we can squeeze in.
This is
with
gonna
the
get
time we
weird.
have. Yes, and basically we're just all gonna discuss. We're not gonna do it competitively like we used to. This is just gonna be more of a discussion thing for fun.
Right.
But we are gonna look and see like what the majority vote was on these because it tells you when you click on them online. So, now that the cat's out of the bag, we're just gonna go ahead and get started with it. And Also, I tend to, when I'm looking, because I have control over this on the thing, I tend to skip ones I think are fucking stupid or won't make a good discussion. So, because the serious ones aren't very fun. All right, here we go. Would you rather, starting off with the existential shit right away, would you rather be the only person that doesn't get... What? Oh, yeah, you're responding to the existential. Okay. Would you rather be the only person that doesn't get to live forever, or be the only person that does get to live forever? Discuss. Either you're the only person in the whole world who ever dies, or you're the only person in the whole world who ever doesn't die.
So because here's the issue. I have questions. You say that doesn't die. Is this like an immortality thing, or is this like could I unalive myself if I'm like, all right, I think I'm done. I think I've done it. Can I shoot myself into space?
I didn't create the questions, and there's no asterisks, so I think you just have to take them at face value.
Okay, all right. Honestly, for me personally, I would rather have the ability to die. I would much rather personally have the ability to die. Am I gonna miss people? Am I gonna have FOMO for my entire existence because they get to all keep on existing? Yes, but the idea of going through an endless cycle of watching people grow old and die over and over and over and over. I couldn't do it. Like I watched I just started watching Interview with Vampire, the AMC show recently, and I'm like, I could not imagine what that's like,
Yeah.
and I'm so not interested. One life's already hard, man. I don't need infinite.
And if it is an immortality thing, if it is an immortality thing, then you have to think once everyone else is gone and the world ends, then you're just kind of stuck floating in space, unable to live, unable to die. You know, pretty fate worse than death type scenario.
Yeah.
Plus, if you are the only one who doesn't die and everyone else becomes immortal, I mean, you got to think about that too. There's also, I guess, there's the flip side of it as a heroic sacrifice thing, because if you choose to be the only immortal one, then you have to carry that burden, like the guy with the world on his shoulders from Greek mythology. But if you choose to be the only one who does die, then you know that you've doomed everyone else in the world to a horrific fate of overpopulation and immortality. And you're the only one that got the easy way out.
Yeah.
That sounds like not my monkey, not my circus to me.
He said that's not my. He said that sounds like a them problem, bitch. Okay.
Yeah, you're letting me choose. I am gonna go ahead and deflect the problem to someone else. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus,
Agreed.
if you get to stick around for this overpopulation, there's going to be a lot of suffering going on in the process. Let me tell you.
I won't. I'll be dead.
Exactly.
Not a problem, bro. Like,
I think I have to agree with you guys, and because of that, we're going to click on the only one who doesn't get to live forever. Let's see what the majority was. Yep, 60% in favor of that to 40% the other one. So you guys were right, I guess. 60-40.
Hell yeah. A lot of people think alike.
Would you rather have to sing everything like you were stuck in a musical, or have to rhyme every time you talk?
Okay. You said that you have to rhyme every time that you're talking, which means that I just don't have like the inherent ability to rhyme everything. So it means I'm just gonna be stuck like with.
Well, picture it like a curse. Picture it like a curse cast on you, where you don't have any control over it. You just speak in rhymes.
Okay, if I don't have any control over it, I would much rather rhyme. would much rather rhyme. I enjoy singing. I do not want to live in a musical 24/7. I know that may be some people's dreams, like my wonderful friend Faye. I bet that would be a dream for her. It'd be a nightmare for me.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. It's rhymes for me
Yeah.
too. I couldn't do all this. I couldn't live in a musical where every discussion is a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
No, neither
would
could
just,
I.
I would just start focusing on trying to learn how to speak as quickly as possible and just take Eminem for everything that he's worth. Like, personally speaking.
Right?
Plus, speaking in rhymes would give me a chance to try out my like under the bridge troll character, like la ha 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 tee hee hee hee. You shall not cross till you answer my riddles 3. You know.
I'm also thinking, like, because I work in staffing and recruiting, and I make sales calls all day long. I'm telling you right now, people are going to hang up on me so much faster if I'm singing right off the rip, as opposed to, are you rhyming, bro? I can't help it. I'm so sorry.
You know what? You could really. What if you like Dr. Seuss it up and just try to sell them a bunch of nonsense? Like, do you need a shpleeble boppin' or a scorbly boop? You know,
Yep.
or perhaps a wibbly whoppin' or a snoobledy toop.
Oh man.
All of these things I have for you. I could even
This
sell
is
you
so
a zoo.
unhinged.
Oh man.
Uh,
What about y'all? Like, Nick, are you gonna live your best wicked life for
What is-
eternity?
Nah, I'd rather rhyme. I'm with you guys on this.
we said rhyme, and the public agreed 64% on the rhymes over singing. So.
It's the concerning part is the 36%. I did not think that number was gonna be as high as it is.
Okay, a lot of musical fans out there. Would you rather have 4 hands or 4 feet?
Oh man, that's a
But-
lot of grippers.
I'm gonna go right off the bat and say I think I'd rather have 4 hands because if 4 hands, then monkey.
Then monkey.
Yes. I mean, think about it.
trying
They grip shit with their feet like they're a second pair of hands, man. Like that. You know how useful that would be. You know how much you could get done with 4 hands.
Hell yeah. 4 hands? It'd make things at work so much easier.
Oh yeah, no. I'm literally sitting here thinking, like, what is the benefit of having 4 feet? Like, outside of just like the most like unholy, unhinged, greatest game on OnlyFans, that's the only thing I can think of that would be a win. Like, otherwise, no. No. No, I'm going hands.
4 hands.
Yeah, I think it's hands for me too. And the public says hands, 87% hands to 13 feet. So that was an overwhelming
Oh,
majority.
thank.
Okay.
That smaller percentage is all the people with the feet fetishes.
Gross. Not to
Oh.
yuck someone's yum, but
Here's a fun one. This is so fucked. Would you rather? Okay, so imagine you have no choice but to have a phobia, and I know Nick, you already do.
Yes, I do.
But like, say you didn't, and you had no choice but to have one. Would you rather be given the choice of what your phobia is, like you pick it, or have it assigned randomly?
I'd rather
choose.
pick it.
Oh, choose 100%.
I would have to agree with that. I don't even think that's a discussion. That's just like a straight up yeah. Yep. The public agrees again, 87 to 13%. Holy shit.
13% of people need to talk to a therapist.
Okay, this is gonna be a hard one for Nick. This might be easier for Brooksy, considering what he said before. Would you rather live without social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., or live without video streaming platforms like YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, etc.?
Ooh,
I'd rather live without social media, to be honest.
I think I agree
And you
with
said it
that.
was
I don't know.
You said streaming media like Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that.
Yeah, but they included YouTube in that example too.
No,
Although I would argue
so
YouTube is more social media, but
yeah. Honestly, I would personally get rid of streaming media. Like again, I'm a physical media person. I already have all of it. I love my TikTok, man. I don't want to get rid of that, even though the government probably is going to.
yeah. Well, no, TikTok I think would be considered video streaming media because it says video streaming platforms, not just social. The choices between social media and the examples are Instagram, Twitter. I threw Facebook in there. Video streaming platforms, they use YouTube and Netflix as an example, so I'm assuming any equivalent to either of those counts as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got beef with Facebook and Instagram and all. So I guess it would be getting rid of the social media aspect.
I want to agree with that, especially because I do
No.
YouTube videos, but my only downside is social media is the only way I have to talk to some people. You know?
Yeah, that's actually I would say no. Honestly, I would get rid of streaming. I would get rid of streaming personally and keep social media. And a big
all
part
those
of it
all
is
those shows can either be bought or downloaded from the internet.
yeah, exactly. And like not to mention like Instagram's got Reels, I guess. And on top of that, social media has been able to bring people together in new formats and be able to organize in ways that we've never been able to before. I can't imagine not having any form at all. So I would say get rid of streaming and keep social media.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think just because of the amount of people but I would be giving up YouTube, which is a huge hit for me. You know, specifically,
Yeah.
like so much shit. I'm in the middle of watching Game Grumps play Danganronpa 3 right now. You know, so that I can't download. That's where I'd have to make the exception is YouTube. Everything else, yeah, but that's a rough sacrifice. But I would choose my friends and family over YouTube, obviously. So I think it would be on that. I think this is the only one where Nick was on the opposite side of the table. And the public says 76% without social media, 24% without video streaming. Brooksy, you and I were in the minority there.
Really, minority on that. Wow. Okay.
People
Thought
prefer.
it'd be closer than that.
Honestly, though, I feel like that one's definitely coming from a place of people demonizing social media, not thinking of the positives, thinking of them being a platform for misinformation and racism, which they are. But
Yeah.
So at the same time, I get it. It's like that people are like, "Fuck that shit! I want to escape into my favorite TV show." If I have to go without my watching Bridgerton or Stranger Things, I might unalive myself. That's,
Listen,
yeah.
listen.
That's their
Personally,
that's what people are
personally
saying.
speaking, personally speaking, a pirate's life is definitely for me, so I'm not worried about it. Like.
Okay, here's a genuinely fun one that's not really like difficult or depressing. It's, would you rather have the ability to time travel to any point in the past that you want, or have the ability to teleport to any location instantly? So would you rather have the ability to travel through time or teleport is basically the question.
Teleport.
Time travel. I'm saving that gorilla in 2016.
He said,
Yeah.
fuck that kid that fell in the cage. No,
I'm,
I would
I'm
hope
fixing
you would
this
go
current
back.
timeline.
I hope you would go back far enough to stop the kid from ever going in there in the first place. That would be the point.
I'm doing delirious things. I'm going to the 1200s and finding a Victorian child and giving him a monster. Like I'm
straight up Bill and Ted in it. Bill and Ted in it.
Yeah.
Are you not worried about the butterfly effect? Must have never seen that movie.
No, I have. I was like, what's one Victorian child drinking a monster gonna do?
Dude, One Victorian. What you give? Haven't you ever heard the "give a mouse a cookie" a fable? You know, it's like that, but you give a Victorian child an energy drink, and he grows up to be Hitler. You know, like
Jesus Christ.
You know,
Oh my God.
Oh,
or
no,
something.
I personally did not read "gonna turn into Hitler" on the ingredients on the can of Monster, but you know what? It could happen.
No, but that's just the chain of events.
Yeah.
Have you not? Have,
No, I know.
Have you played Until Dawn? You shoot a squirrel, and a bad guy a bad guy kidnaps you from an elevator shaft 5 hours later.
You're
know?
right. You're right, but I'm still saving Harambe. The child's got to go. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. You know what? For me, the past is in the past. I like why the eyes are on the front of your head so you can look forward. God damn it, that was cheesy. But I would. But I'm a lazy fuck that doesn't want to. Teleporting would be nice because then I don't have to contribute to the carbon footprint. I'm gonna teleport.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I walk everywhere anyways. It would be nice. I could just, if I could teleport, I wouldn't have to leave for work an hour early in the same town. You know, what do we have here?
Teleportation.
The majority,
would be nice.
69% teleport to 31% time travel. Not bad. Okay, here we go. Here's a fucked up one. Nick, I think we might have actually answered this one before. I can't remember. It sounds familiar. But we're going to ask it again because Brooksy's here. Would you rather have all your fingers permanently replaced by scissors or have your feet permanently replaced by butter knives?
Oh.
I don't remember this one.
I think I do.
I'm going.
And I'm pretty sure we went with finger scissors because, well...
No, I use my hands. I use my hands too much. I'm going with butter knife feet.
Yeah, but that's the thing,
Talk
though.
about
It's your fingers are scissors, but your whole feet are butter knives. So basically, you're just walking on ice skates the rest of your life.
I mean, that's to me, that's pretty dope. But I work too much with my hands and I play video games. I'm not trying to hold a controller with 10 scissors. Like, I'm okay.
Imagine if that's like a horror movie about a deformed serial killer. He's got butter knives.
I
for
don't know
feet
how
in
to
the
answer
movies.
this.
The movie's called Butterfoot.
Butterfoot.
I know Xbox came out with that controller for pretty much anyone to be able to play with it, but I do not think they considered what if someone had 10 scissors for fingers. Like,
yeah, you've heard of Edward Scissorhands? Well, here's Edmund Scissorfingers.
yeah, I don't want to be Brooksy scissor fingies. Like, I'm okay.
I don't know, man. I'd take the scissors and then just become a supervillain. Just go with it, you know.
Fingers.
It's feet. I'm going
Let's
feet.
see what the public said.
Make it...
58% feet to 42% fingers. Not bad, Brooksy.
That's right. We're all going to OnlyFans. It's only scissors now. Like, I'm in it.
Would you rather be the funniest person alive or the most attractive person alive?
Oh,
funniest.
Funniest. There's no
Yeah,
no
I'm gonna go with
for me.
I'm gonna go with funniest. That's where the money is, you know. Public is very evenly split. 52% attractive to 48% funny, which is almost 50-50. It's there's a lot of vain people out there.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a fun and stupid one. Would you rather? Now, bear with me here. It's a little long, but would you rather have to scream as loud as you can before starting every conversation? I am a leprechaun. You know, so anytime you go to have a conversation, you have to scream, "I am a leprechaun," and then you can start talking. Or every time you have a conversation, the person you're talking to, you have to smack them and call them an idiot. You know. Those are your choices. You'll never be able to have a normal conversation again. You're either going to scream at the top of your lungs that I'm a leprechaun, or you're going to smack the shit out of the person you just talked to and call him stupid. One or the other is going to happen.
Leprechaun.
Based on the fact that I would never want to lay a hand on my wonderful wife, yeah, I'm going leprechaun. She's gonna have to deal with that.
That sounds fair. I'm going to be surprised. Wow, I'm surprised at how close that was. 55% leprechaun scream to 45% smack the person. There's a lot of people with
that is way
unresolved
too
issue.
close.
That is way too high. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, here's a fun sort of sci-fi one.
A lot of
Would you
people
rather
have
have a
to reevaluate themselves.
Yeah, I would say so. We're getting a good look into the dark side of humanity here. Would you rather have a clone of yourself or be able to control someone else?
Oh. I personally a clone of myself. Like I don't want to take over someone's ability to exist as a human. Plus,
think of it in like superhero terms, like duplicate from Invincible for the clone thing, and like Xavier for the mind control thing from X-Men. You know.
Okay, cool.
I'm thinking of it this way. The other me can go to work, and I can sit at home playing video games.
1,000% what I
go.
was thinking. I was like,
Yep.
I was like, oh my god, you're trying to tell me I don't have to work for the rest of my life? Yeah, I'm in.
I want a clone
Yeah,
for
clone.
selfish reasons. Yeah. Oh my god, we were wrong. 27% to 73 control someone. There is something wrong. No, we're not the wrong ones. Everyone else is. That's what what the fuck is wrong with people?
There's a lot of people need therapy.
Y'all are all narcissists.
Okay, last one. Would you rather work a job that requires frequent travel but little free time, or work a job with lots of free time but no travel opportunities?
Oh, no travel opportunities. I'm okay with making a homestead and just hanging out and living my best life, only working a few hours. You kidding me?
Yeah, I would rather have more free time and not travel at all. I don't like traveling. Oh, but that's just me. What about you, Nick?
We moved on to the next. What was it? What was it again?
Oh, I said, would you rather work a job that requires? Would you rather
space.
work a job that requires frequent travel but little free time, or a job with a lot of free time but no travel?
A lot of free time.
That
travel.
sounds about right. That sounds about right. Okay, I know I said that's the last one, but we're gonna do one more because I want to go out with a bang.
I enjoy
That
my
one
free
wasn't
time.
That one wasn't very. That one wasn't very finale worthy. Okay, here we go. Here's a finale-worthy question. Would you rather have a permanent clown nose or permanent elf ears?
Oh, permanent elf ears all the
Elf
way.
ears, 100%. What kind of question? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Do you
I
take
agree
me for
with
a
that.
clown?
I agree with that. And the world does too. That was 87 to 13% on that one. So,
Okay.
yeah. And that will do
Those
it.
13% are juggalos.
that will
Elf ears. Yes,
Yes.
hell yeah.
that will do it on that. God, that was this year's annual round of Would You Rather, something that we tend to do every season of the show. So, look forward to the next one next year here. Oh, that was fun. I love doing those. We always get good
Yes.
good laughs out of that. So, anyways,
Yes.
Awesome.
that'll be
So much fun.
That'll be it for this
Hell yeah.
episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know your answers to some of those would you rathers in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. You can also email me at podcastoversoul@gmail.com, and I'm also on Twitter at oversoul53. Also, you can find Nick at all the things, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, and all that at The Gaming Fiend 1, and Brooksy is on Instagram at Brooksy My Boy. Music from Epidemic Sounds, hosted by Podsurf FM. Sarah is executive producer, behind the scenes help and all that. Thank you all so much for listening/watching, and until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Later.